the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, there shall be an office of Leader of the Opposition, and appointments thereto shall be made by the President. Pursuant to subsection 2 of subsection 83, the President shall, if the person concerned is willing to be appointed, appoint as Leader of the Opposition a member of the House of Representatives who, in his judgment, is best able to command the support of the greatest number of members in the House of Representatives who do not support the government. At this point, I would like to now invite Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessar SC to receive her instrument of appointment.
Present to you your instrument of appointment as Leader of the Opposition.
Excellency, the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Kamla, my colleagues on the parliamentary bench, and of course the invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen all. On this occasion of my appointment as Leader of the Opposition, I take this opportunity to thank you, Your Excellency, for the handing over of the instrument of appointment here today. I undertake this assignment knowing that I have the confidence and support of members of my parliamentary caucus and the thousands across our country who endorsed our plan to take Trinidad and Tobago forward. And I take this opportunity to thank my parliamentary caucus and to thank all the supporters across the country. I think it is important at this juncture to say a few words on the role of the official opposition in our constitutional democratic political system in the context of recent events. You may have heard calls for all of us to put aside our political differences and move forward after elections. But is that really as nice and a dream as it sounds? Do we all have to possess the same political opinions in order to move the nation forward? Does our democratic system encourage uniformity of thought and views and opinions? Our Republican Constitution, in its very first section, begins with the words, "The Republic of Trinidad and Tobago shall be a sovereign, democratic state." How we operate our democracy is set out in our Constitution. Our government, chosen by the people, is accountable to the Parliament and therefore to the people. In Parliament, there are those members who support the government and those who do not. Our democratic system operates in a very deliberate manner to create space for those who do not support the government to have a role in the system and to act as a check and balance. Indeed, the Constitution in Section 83, under which my instrument has been made, expressly provides for the appointment of the Leader of the Opposition as being the member of the House commanding the greatest number of members who do not support the government. In other words, our constitutional democracy provides for government and for a loyal opposition to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And so the democratic system has a role for the opposition. And that opposition, which I'm pleased to lead, has a very important part to play in our democracy. In any constitutional democracy such as ours, there is expected to be dissent. There is expected to be robust discussion on national affairs, because not everyone is expected to share the same political views. Indeed, if that were the case, we would become a totality-driven state. Political differences can and must exist in a healthy democracy. There's always room for frank discussion, dialogue, and respectful disagreement. Recently, the notion of restorative dialogue has become fashionable in some fora. Of late, we have past politicians, pseudo-politicians, and those who should not be politicians in this post-election period, using this phrase of restorative dialogue as a mantra. Indeed, one cannot call for restorative dialogue whilst at the same time declaring one southern community as being unfit to host a university campus because of its perceived isolation. Does one really expect restorative dialogue after such statements are made? And so, restorative dialogue is certainly noble in its intent, but is it really applicable to the political realm in a liberal constitutional democracy when not everyone is expected to share the same political views? Then there are some who are outwardly declaring themselves independent of the necessary political tensions in our democracy. I certainly respect their right to express that position. But it should never be that independence means holding oneself apart and above the political masses. Elitism in all its forms should have no place in a democracy which espouses the equality of all. Those who choose to openly declare their political allegiances should not be looked down upon by others who hide their opportunism under the veil of neutrality and none of the above. Nothing is wrong with taking a political side, and that is what a constitutional democracy is about. Our politics, however, should never interfere with our personal and community relationships and our national patriotism and pride as one. Public displays of apparent independence should not be used as a mask for political activism. Sometimes those masks slip, and those persons end up accepting political appointments despite the so-called independent institutions and offices they recently held. Let me go back to the Constitution. I've already mentioned Section 1 and the Declaration of Democracy. In the very next section, Section 2, says, this Constitution is the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago. Our Constitution is a contract between the people and the state. It sets out the way our republic is to be governed, and the official opposition is given an acknowledged role in that process. Insofar as our Constitution is supreme, all arms of the state must operate within its provisions. One of the pillars of our Constitution is therefore the rule of law, governance, and state activity according to law, not according to the divine right of things or to arbitrary dictates of some self-proclaimed elitist group masquerading as independent. All institutions of the state, be they the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, the service commissions, the integrity commission, and in particular the elections and boundaries commission, must operate in accordance with the Constitution of the law. Our Constitution acknowledges and protects the role of independent institutions in the governance framework. However, I must add that the rule of law does not and cannot mean that our independent institutions must operate outside of their constitutional remit, or that their constitutional independence is a justification for what may be arbitrary and biased decisions and actions. Some of our so-called independent commentators have expressed the view that the recently mounted challenge to the election results in court is an exercise in futility. I beg to respectfully disagree with those who say that we should accept the results and move along. I wish to respectfully disagree with these so-called independent minds. I wonder if the proverbial shoe was on the other foot, what would be said? You have often heard me say and use the phrase, vox populi, vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Those words have been used over the centuries as a clarion call for democracy, for government of the people, by the people, and for the people, of the people. But how is the voice of the people to be heard? In constitutional democracies such as ours, based on the rule of law, the voice of the people is heard by constitutionally mandated free and fair elections, conducted in accordance with certain and clear rules, and overseen by an independent electoral institution. But what if there was uncertainty in the exercise of the constitutional power by the body set up to oversee elections? What happens if the decision of the Elections and Boundaries Commission to extend the closing of the polls in Trinidad appears to be outside of the specific rules and laws governing the elections process? Our Constitution has provided for all of this. Our Constitution has also provided a mechanism to challenge the results of the election by bringing what is called a representation petition to the court. and that can be done by the elector or by a candidate. This method of challenging the conduct of elections is a feature of constitutional democracies across the Commonwealth, and in fact, indeed, has been used right here in Trinidad and Tobago on more than one occasion. The court, under the Constitution, has the task of deciding these challenges and of interpreting our Constitution to set the legal limits of the EBC's powers. We have taken the decision to mount these challenges in the interest of all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because it is in the national interest to have a determinative ruling from the court as to the parameters of the powers of the EBC under Section 71 of the Constitution and under the Representation of the People Act. We should not be criticized for doing what is right and lawful under our constitutional democracy. The decision of the court in these matters will provide certainty and clarity for future elections. We say that it is better to use the avenue of challenge provided by the Constitution and the law than to harbor lingering doubts and encourage seething resentment at what happened on the evening of the 7th of September 2015. We have taken the hard road in the public interest in bringing these court matters. Before any other elections in this country, every person must know whether the extension was wrong or was right. Right now, no one knows for sure, and there are as much arguments for as against. We will let the courts decide. While the courts do their work, we have ours. These challenges are our legal entitlements to make. They are not and can never be seen as attempts to undermine or destabilize the current elected government. The Constitution provides that governance continues even whilst these questions are before the courts. I congratulate the head of government and members of government and wish them every success in their service to the people. As leader of the official opposition, you in the national community should have no doubt that I shall without fear or favor, together with my parliamentary team, carry out our constitutional duties of holding the government to account in the interest of all, those who voted for us, those who did not, and even those who chose to call themselves independent. All MPs have the right to articulate the interests of the constituents and to preside actions of the government, and that is what we intend to do every day during the life of this 11th Parliament. My mission as leader of the opposition will be to hold the government accountable to the people and ensure that the people's interests come first and take precedence over any partisan political interests. In this new role, I will continue to represent all the people of Trinidad and Tobago as we did in government. We remain a strong and united group, representing the widest possible coalition of interests through our partnership. And it's my intention to vigorously represent all the people with the same commitment as I did when I was Prime Minister. I remain resolute in my determination to represent the people by keeping checks and balances on everything done by the new administration, even as they did when they were in opposition. The division between government and opposition is as old as political democracy itself, and our electoral system allows for reversal of rules as we see today. In our democratic system, the people consent to be governed by an administration that represents everyone. The Prime Minister is pledged to be a leader for all the people, and we are prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt, whilst at the same time we will monitor the government's activities to hold them to that promise. The role of the opposition in our system is to ensure that those who do not share the views of the governing party have these strong bonds. As opposition leader, I intend to be that voice, and my colleagues in Parliament who occupy seats are also committed to that cause. I will ensure that the leader of the opposition and our parliamentary caucus will be as vigilant and diligent as we were in government. In order to have full political democracy, the administration must recognize the full and unquestioned rights and functions of the opposition, which is an integral part of the parliamentary system and the system of governance. As I close, I say only in this way can we protect the rights of minorities and ensure that the force of public opinion will be brought to bear on the legislative and administrative processes. We are fortunate to live in a country that has enshrined our freedom in its constitution, and our parliament and our media are guardians of that right and the very democracy through which we commit to serve the people. In my effort to protect our freedom and democracy, I will be a most vocal leader of the opposition, because I sincerely believe that freedom always dies when criticism ends. Our focus will be on constructive criticism, aimed at building a better Trinidad and Tobago for all of us, not opposition for the sake of having a contrary opinion or scoring political points. That means, together with my colleagues in opposition, we will critically analyze all expenditures and attempt to prevent abuse by exposing wasteful spending. At all times we will act responsibly. We will ask questions, we will suggest amendments, and we will demand information so that all activities of the government and the parliament are placed in the public domain for the benefit of all citizens. My colleagues and I will scrutinize every action by government, and in so doing prevent any attempt which may undermine the democratic procedure that is expected of the government. I say we remain strong. When I entered politics, it was to serve the people, which I tried to do during my term as Prime Minister. We maintained a dialogue with the people. We allowed members of my administration to speak freely on all matters. It was a system that allowed us to consider the multiplicity of views that our partnership represented. We will do the same in opposition. The electoral results show that the majority of the people of Trinidad and Tobago voted for the party that now holds political office. But the results also show that hundreds of thousands rejected the PNM and accepted our plan for Trinidad and Tobago. While statistically those who voted against the PNM are a minority, they represent the diversity of views and opinions that must be articulated in our parliament. And soon the euphoria as well as the disappointment of the election will be over, and we will be getting to the very important task of governing. I pledge that I will lead the charge for the hundreds of thousands who expect no less from the leader of the opposition and the members of the opposition bench. And I see you all smiling as they get ready to take on this new mantle as the loyal opposition of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. In closing, I will share with you on another occasion our plans with respect to our shadow cabinet, for in addition to holding the government in check, we are also the cabinet in waiting, and myself as opposition leader, as the Prime Minister in waiting. We have already discussed portfolios for the members of the Parliament in the opposition, and we will share those details at another occasion. In closing, I congratulate all the people of Trinidad and Tobago for holding the very tenets of democracy on which our country was built. We remain a model to the world in terms of our respect for one another and the manner in which we live as one family. In a world ravaged by ethnic and political strife, we have always allowed free debate and an orderly transition from one government to the next. That is a credit to all the people of Trinidad and Tobago who fight a good fight, but also know that country comes first. And as leader of the opposition, I pledge to stand on guard every day to ensure that we remain that way, one people under God, committed to defend our democracy and our freedom. I thank you, and may God bless you all.